All right, we good to go. All right, go ahead, clap it up. Might even hand to Kalawan. Give yourselves a hand. Kalawan, you did an amazing job up and set this spot up. Give yourselves a hand. Most High Christ. Shalom, Yahweh to all the brothers. Salaki, brother thumb to all the brothers. Yahweh Shamar Al-Thun by Shem Yahweh Shamar Al-Thun by Shem Yahweh Shah to all the sisters. I'm preaching on the 5,000 Malak. And we're here holding down the Feast of Hachaanakah. Salaki, we had some technical difficulties with this apple. That's the reason why I wish we had a microphone for that. Can you connect this to that? It's Bluetooth, Kunaya. That way everybody in the class can hear. You can even bring it up here if you like. But nonetheless, while he's working out the kinks of the sound on that, put a 1W in the chat if you can hear me. Elijah, if you listening, you can put a 1W in there. Whoever's watching on there online, see if you can, this microphone. Yeah, see if I can speak from that one. That way in the class, they can, because it's an echo here. Oh, okay, no sweat. We good? Okay, the water light shot. All right, no sweat. I see we can hear, we got sound. Tonight is the Feast of Hachaanakah. And this, if I may, is one of the most hardcore high holy days. Because unlike most of our high holy days, now this is not in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, this is a memorial, right? That's why you don't see three brothers up here the way you would a Sabbath service, because this is a memorial. But one of the things that is so amazing about this memorial, and if I could, let's hold 1 Maccabees chapter 1. Let's get 1 Maccabees chapter 1, and then somebody hold 1 Maccabees chapter 4, right? One of the most beautiful things about this one is it involves warfare. It involves going to war and battle with our enemies so that we can reclaim our kingdom, we can reclaim our laws, and we can reclaim our culture. Boy, I would like for it to be, I just wanted that sound because it's an echo. I like to have that mic. Now we know what to invest in. We need a microphone for when we have a venue, a class, and we can have the whole entire school sound, class. It'll sound like I'm teaching in the class. You want to try to use your phone?
Because it's going to interfere with the...
Yeah, it will. Okay, no sweat. Yeah, we got to get, so this is what we need. Salaki, if I may, a microphone that you can have that's two-way. One that will go into the Bluetooth speaker and one that will go into the class. That's what we need. But online, it sounds perfect, so it's too wild. So no sweat. I'm thinking, Salakia, I'm sitting here like Judas Maccabees thinking of how to help our school grow, which is the reason why everything in the school around this day or this high holy day is glorified, is beautified, because that is the purpose of Hachaanakah. The purpose is to rededicate the temple, rededicate the school. There was a time that we're about to read about in the Apocrypha where our brothers and our sisters, our nation was at war with the Greeks. We were at conflict with the Greeks, the way that the Latinos and the Negroes and the South and Central Americans are at war, at conflict with America, with British Crown, with our oppressor. It's the same thing that happened during the time of Judas Maccabees. And while we were at conflict, while we were at war, while we were battling to keep our culture and our language, to keep our laws, the laws of our God, while we were engaged in this conflict, there was a wicked king. There was an evil man like Donald Trump named Antiochus. And his entire goal was to humiliate the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, was to humiliate the Negroes, humiliate the so-called Haitians, humiliate the so-called Mexicans, La Raza, humiliate the so-called Puerto Ricans, Boricua. That was his goal. His goal was to make sure that we did not serve our God, that we did not love one another, that we did not have our language, that we did not have our culture. He wanted to dismantle it, destroy it. That's what his goal was. The same way Donald Trump doesn't want blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to have any pride. The same way Woodrow Wilson, the president who allowed the birth of a nation, the Ku Klux Klan to march at the White House at 1600 Pennsylvania back in 1923, the same way that Harry S. Truman, the same way that Bill Clinton with the 3 strikes rule, the same way that every president of the United States of America has looked to humiliate and dehumanize and oppress blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. This King Antiochus of the Greeks did this 3,000 years ago. That's what he did. And we got it right here in the Bible. Whoever has 1 Maccabees, read.
The book of 1 Maccabees. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece. Verse 2, and made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew the king of the earth.
So like Elisha, if you can sit a little bit closer, just so this microphone can pick you up a little. It's a bit bad echo in here. So like you start again from the top, Elisha.
First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 1. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians, and Medes.
So there was a king named Alexander who everybody knows about because of world history. Everybody knows about Alexander, the so-called Great. That was his name. He earned that name because he went to war with so many nations. They said, history says that he conquered the known Western world. I'm saying the known world, not Western world, not Eastern world. Alexander conquered the known world. He conquered India. He conquered those countries. He never conquered Asia, but he did conquer Asia Minor. He came out of Greece. His father was Philip, the one that was known for being the father, the forefather of the Greeks. His son, Alexander, conquered the known world. He conquered for so long. He conquered for so long on the road, while he was on the road, while he was on his mission, while he was at war. He conquered all this land. He came in contact with the Israelites, right? The Greeks began to oppress the Israelites. They began to oppress us the way America oppresses us. Now, this was during the time of Alexander. Does everyone understand? We're going to read down. There was a man after Alexander named Antiochus who took over, who reigned in his stead. Remember, after Alexander died, I forget the name of what the, go ahead. I forget the name of what the Greeks called their generals, but it's a name, you can look it up. And he had, I think, 12 successors. So after Alexander died, he died at like 23 or something like that. After he died, 33, after he died, he had these generals that tried to reign in his stead. And every single general he had was some Looney Tune crazy white man from Greece, from Rome. They were some serial killing devils who just were absolutely insane. One of them was Antiochus. Antiochus reigned in the stead of Alexander after this bastard died. And he was cruel, especially cruel to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Now, read me down to, come.
First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 10. And there came out of them a wicked group, Antiochus, surnamed, how you say it, Epiphanies?
You see?
Epiphanies?
You're in 10, right? Epiphanes,
son of Antiochus the king, who had been hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. Verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many.
Read that again from the top of Elisha, verse 11.
Verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
In those days went there out of Israel wicked men. This is speaking about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. This ain't speaking about Greeks. This ain't speaking about the oppressor. This isn't speaking about the heathen or the other nations. There went out that day out of Israel wicked men. The wicked men came from our nation, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And they were wicked. They were like your preacher. They was like that pastor of the 2817 church in Atlanta, Georgia, or like Dr. King, or like all of those pastors who touched and molested young children while they were preacher or pastor over the church. They were like your imams, or like your religious leaders, or your politicians. You know how many black politicians we've had that are crackheads? But what was his name? Marion Barry in D.C. was a famous mayor that was a crackhead. You have so many wicked men out of this nation at that time, just like you do now. Just like you do now. And at this time, brother, while we were oppressed by the Greeks, there were evil men who wanted us to serve the Greeks, who wanted us to, just like your preacher, love America, salute the flag, go and serve in your oppressor's military. That's what was happening at this time. That's who the wicked men were. The ones that said, we all bleed red. Who says that today in 2025? Put it in the chat. Who says we all bleed red? God loves everybody. God loves everybody. No matter where you came from, God loves you. We all are from the human race. That sounds like a specific people, a specific group of people. Those are your pastors. Those are the people who we look up to. Your celebrities who get money and then say what? Well, we should all just love America because even though white people had us in slavery, they all didn't have us in slavery. Ain't that what they tell us? LeBron and Kobe's dead. May he, rise again. But our celebrities, black and Hispanic celebrities, want us to kiss the ass of the white man so much because they have a little money. And that makes them sell us out. The same thing happened 2,000-3,000 years ago in Israel under the Greeks. They sold us out just like they sell us out now. Just like your pastors sell us out now. Just like the imam sells us out now. The politician sells us out now. The same thing happened 3,000 years ago. The same thing. The same group of people sold us out. Keep going.
Who persuaded many.
You hear that? This is how you know these aren't just any old wicked man. These are wicked men who have the voice to persuade. That's a perfect word, Elisha. They have the statue. They live in a condition to where people look up to them. Everybody idolizes them, like LeBron, like Michael Jordan, like Michael Jackson, like your politician. Barack Obama, he was the president of the United States of America. He literally had the voice to persuade millions of people, if not billions of people. He was a leader of the free world with dark skin. This is who lived amongst us 3,000 years ago. They had the position for people to look up to him. Your child looked at them and said, I want to be like him. I want to be like him. I see the way he talks. And that's such another thing that good bastards like Dr. King had. They had the ability to talk, to speak. They were great orators. They were great stochastic speakers. And that alone, being charismatic, having what they call it to the young sister Reagan, the children today call it Riz. They call charisma Riz. They say, you got, sister, what'd she say? She said, I don't know. Oh, she don't know. She don't know. That's what they say. Yeah, look, I know she know. Aura, Riz, that's what your leaders had. Dr. King has Riz. He had aura. Malcolm X had Riz. They had charisma. That's these wicked men. They have a good voice to speak. Like, what's that cat's name? Eddie Long. Eddie Long molested all of those boys, and then at the end of it, he said, I got 5 rocks. I ain't through one yet. The whole congregation got up and started clapping. He didn't apologize. He didn't say, I'm sorry. He didn't say, I'm stepping down from the church. He said, I got 5 rocks. I ain't thrown one yet. And his church, they clapped. That's someone with charisma, aura. People look at him and say, well, he got money. He must be doing something right. That's who dwelled amongst us 3,000 years ago. Go ahead, Elisha. You have something to say?
And if I may, just on that point, and this is one of the problems with the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community and the horrible leadership that we have. Because the Christian church, and we say this all the time, when we go out and do interviews, and when we just talking to brothers and sisters in general, the Bible or Christ tells brothers and sisters to strive to be perfect.
Yeah, right.
But in the Christian church, it's a sin to be perfect. And the reason it's a sin to be perfect in the Christian church, what did Eddie Long say? I got 5 rocks. And I ain't through one yet. Meaning, you allow your congregation to be filthy, wicked, dirty sinners.
Yeah, right.
Why? Why does he allow his congregation to be sinners? Because he doesn't want to be judged for molesting little boys.
Yeah, right.
That's the point. So that is the ideology of the doctrine of the Christian church. I'm gonna turn my blind eye to your wickedness, so you can turn a blind eye to my wickedness. I can molest little boys because I'm not gonna judge you for smoking weed. I'm not gonna judge you for celebrating your birthday.
Yeah, right.
And you're not gonna judge me for molesting these young boys.
Yeah, right. Get it, brother. And shalom to Sister Shapala, man. Y'all shalom, sis. Got the sister in there checking in. And any other brother or sister that's watching class, make sure y'all check in, man. The young men, young sisters, you want to earn that name, check in. But what Officer I.S.U.P.K said was absolutely correct. That's the reason why they have that's the reason why people go to the church of I.S.U.P.K, because they don't want to be perfect. And that's what was going on 3,000 years ago. You had the earliest form of what you would now call Christianity or Christian preachers. Wicked, evil, disgusting, lying, hypocritical bastards who had the ear of the people, who had also the money from the oppressor, who was funded and said, you go tell by the oppressor and said, you go tell these blacks and Hispanics to do this. Go influence them to do that. Go influence, like Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, influence your daughters to be whores. Who does that? Our oppressor does that. But he doesn't do it with his white girls, his daughters. He uses our daughters to do it. He uses black women that have the ear of your daughter. He uses black men to teach young brothers, young boys, black and Hispanic boys, to be gangsters and thugs. How does he do it? He uses some brother who has the ear of the people, like NBA Youngboy, or more apropos to this breakdown, the Christian preacher. Some preacher who's gonna know your son doesn't have a father figure. They know he doesn't have a father. He's gonna take that young boy up and he's gonna teach them how to be a man. He's gonna show them how to be a man. He's gonna molest them, but he's gonna show them how to be a man. That's the wicked men that was going out at this time in the nation of Israel under the Greeks. Keep reading, Elisha.
Who persuaded many.
They persuaded many. They had the ear of the people. Go ahead.
Saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us.
That's what your black and Hispanic leaders say. Your black and Hispanic leaders say, let us go love the oppressor. We all, anytime you at camp, whenever we at camp under Commander General Yahanna and I.S.U.P.K, and whenever I hear a black or Hispanic say, well, they didn't do anything to me. White people didn't do anything to me. Yeah, they did it to our forefathers, to our ancestors, but they never did it to me. I know that's an agent. I know that brother or that sister who says something like that is someone who is so influenced by the Christian church that it warped their minds of their loyalty to their people. Imagine how evil a doctrine has to be to persuade a person from the persecution of the people that they're living under to love them. Think about how severe of a doctrine it has to be to have somebody get lynched, go and be enslaved, see their forefathers with scars on their backs from cat of nine tails, from whips, because they didn't meet their quota of how much cotton they picked. Imagine living through that. And then in 2025, you see Philando Castile. You see Oscar Abrego. You see the brother out there in California, what was his name that got killed? Oscar Grant. Oscar Grant. You got Philando Castile. You got Atiana Jefferson. You got the sister Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor, so many, Michael Brown right here in Missouri. You have all of these blacks and Hispanics still being oppressed by your oppressor, and the Christian church says, forgive them. Imagine how evil a doctrine has to be to endure that pain, that heartache. Remember the sister in Milwaukee said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, and the cop shot her. She said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, and the white police officer in Milwaukee put the sister to death. And then you go to church Sunday and they say, well, we got to love everybody. God loves everybody. Forgive your oppressor. Pray for them that despitefully use you. That's what your black Christian preacher is going to tell you. Read that part again, Elisha.
Who persuade many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us.
Listen to Kalawan, Kornaya, Elisha. Even though your mama was just shot by the white cop who's supposed to protect her, and she pled the blood of Jesus over him, you still got to love these people. We still need to go and make covenants with them. You know what we need to do? We need to go vote. Was I with y'all this weekend? A brother just told us that. I said, what do we got to do? I was talking to an older brother. I said, brother, what should we be doing? No, it was Santa Claus. Yesterday when we spoke to a devil, some PDF pal.
That's on the way.
Yeah, the PD, Most High Christ, get it, brothers, ahead. Good night, y'all, like shot. Colorado, you should have been there. We interviewed Santa Claus, the skinniest Santa I've ever seen in my life. Santa been smoking crack. I don't know if Santa is going to be bringing, he been smoking meth, the water. Santa's been on fentanyl since the 1990s when I was a child. Because when Santa Claus was supposed to be giving us gifts in the ghetto, he's supposed to be a fat white man. We interviewed Santa yesterday right on Westport, and he's a skinny oppressor. And he said that the solution to our problems is for us to vote. I said, damn, you sound like a black man. Because that's what black people have been saying since the 60s. They said that in order for us to be free is for us to vote. We gotta vote. Right or wrong? We gotta vote. They push voting religiously. We gotta vote. Sandra Bland got unalive, vote. We need to make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. Instead of us fighting against the oppressor, you know what we should really do? We should love the oppressor. That'll get them, that'll show them. We gotta love our oppressor. Guess what, Kalawan? You laughing, but that's what we said 3,000 years ago. That's what our leaders said 3,000 years ago, just like they say today. You're getting lynched by white people, vote. Love them. Have sex with their daughters. Love them. That's what they told us 3,000. Let us go make a covenant with them. They murdered us. Let us go agree with them more. That's what a covenant is. It's an agreement. Let's go make agreements with them so maybe they can stop oppressing us. There was a brother out who had a better plan, who had a better idea. Keep going, Elisha.
For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
Read that part again now.
For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
Y'all hear that? Sis Mathana, you hear that? Sis, well, she getting that food. By the way, give all the sisters and brothers who made something. I mean, that table is glorious. Yeah, it does. I can't wait to dig in. It looks delicious. We got plenty of food, drinks. If you in the area, you still got time, come through, man. Come through. We're here at 6219 Blue Ridge Boulevard. You come through and get you some food and hold down the holy day of the Lord instead of gearing up to celebrate Christmas, because that's what you're gearing up to do now. Come and celebrate the high holy day of the Lord, a memorial of the Most High. You got to take a call. You go. Yeah, you too about. Yeah, give yourselves another hand. Give me the sisters' names that made food. Sister Kadawa, Sister Yapashiar. The brothers, let's start with the brothers in rank order. Officer Elisha, you made some. Okay. Okay, Elisha, give Elisha a hand. Give Officer Quinai Yagabar a hand. Give Sister Kadawa a hand. Give Sister Yapashiar a hand. Give them a hand, y'all. Give Sister Mathana, Sister Yahanna, Sister Shapala, Sister Mariam, give them a hand. The whole school participated in this food. And get the children a hand. That's what it's all about, man. It's all about us coming together to remember just why we're here. Just why we're here. And so now we're living in a time where you had evil Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian leaders who convinced us to go and make covenants with our oppressor so that our oppressor can stop killing us, Konaya. Imagine that. So like, what's you two out? Oh, go ahead. If she want to watch, you want to set it up, you can set it up right there. Okay, no sweat, no sweat. I was going to say, if anybody got family that's locked up, anybody want to watch, we got a camera stand right here. You can set your loved one up, and they can watch class. They can be right here in the Feast of Hachaanakah, holding it down with us, right? So now you have Black and Hispanic leaders who want us to go and do what? Love the oppressor who's unaliving us. Make promises and agreements with them so that one day maybe they can stop unaliving us. That's their goal. That's their plan. Keep going, Elisha.
Verse 12.
No, for since we departed, read that part again. Yeah.
That's since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
For since we have departed from them, we've had much sorrow. What does that sound like? That sounds like Stockholm Syndrome. That's what that sounds like. That sounds like a group of people who have been oppressed for so long that they don't know what to do without their oppressor. And that's what we endure today. We're a group of people, a race of people, who have been oppressed for so long by our oppressor. We've been oppressed so long by the Spaniards, by the British, by the Greeks, by the Romans, by America, that we don't know what to do without them. You got some silly niggas that's trying to be foundational Black Americans, and they want reparations from their oppressor. They want their oppressor to give them money to do what? Get money to do what? What are you getting money from your oppressor to do? You're going to do what? You're going to go buy land that's going to, go ahead, to give it right back to your oppressor. You're going to buy his liquor. You're gonna buy his alcohol, weed, give the brother a hand. You're gonna marry his daughter. You're gonna buy land and then give him property taxes, 10% of property taxes in Kansas. You're giving the money right back to him because you really don't know what to do without white people. Notice that there has never been any black movement outside of the UPK that has ever said that our freedom is in separating ourselves from white people. You have never heard no one say that. The Nation of Islam, they made dealings with the Ku Klux Klan. They needed white people. The Christian church, my God, love white people. You have the Moors who need white lawyers to get them off of cases. There have been, you got the Black Panthers who married white women. There has been no black movement, no black push for us to separate ourselves from black people. That lets you know what? That really our people know we need white people in order to survive. We could not live without white people. That's the thought of someone who is really a slave, who's a house slave, who's somebody who just, they love it here too much. It's too convenient for them to be a slave than to be free. That happened in Egypt when we came out of Egypt, and that happened here while we were being oppressed by the Greeks. Go ahead.
Just real quick. And the sad part about it is that you're willing to accept hell. Like you're willing, like our oppressors literally put us through hell.
Here, like, should I talk on the mic?
I'm just saying our oppressors literally put us through hell. Well, it was short, so but our oppressors literally put us through hell. So we willingly are saying that we're ready to just live through hell versus being free men because we don't have the backbone to stand up on our own. And that's all that you're saying. Because your oppressor, of course, is currently running the earth, is ruling the earth. They have everything at their fingertips. And we want a piece of the pie. That's what all niggas want. So like, all niggas want a piece of the pie. But we're willing to sacrifice our morality. We're willing to sacrifice our integrity. And we're even willing to sacrifice our relationship with the Most High God to have a piece of the pie with the devil that the Bible speaks of. Why would we want to live through hell when we have the kingdom to look forward to living in? And I'm going to leave it right there. So like you.
Give a brother a hand. Give him my hand. That was heavy. And let me answer that, if I may, Elisha. Do you want to know the reason why black people are so comfortable living under this oppressor in hell? Because you really don't know what heaven is. That's the reason why. You don't really know. You think heaven is how LeBron James lives. That's in our mind. When we think of heaven being Oprah. If I could just make $1 billion like Oprah. If I could make $1 billion like LeBron. If I can get my son to be a special athlete. You know Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL today. Did y'all hear that? I'm saying that, Sister Kadawa. Did y'all know Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL today? That's why she was looking at me crazy. Yeah, he won't be back till next year. The Chiefs ain't making the playoffs. I knew that about 6 weeks ago. They're not making the playoffs. All you Kansas City Chiefs fans out there that love Patrick Mahomes. His parents, he has a black father from the tribe of Judah. And I'm sure his daddy always thought, if I can get my son into the league, then his life will be heaven. He tore his ACL. He's married to a hideous white woman. The white woman is one of the ugliest white women I have ever seen in my life. That's who Patrick Mahomes is married to. And he tore his ACL. And I'm sure his father thinks, but he has the money from the NFL. And that's heaven. Does anybody want to blow my mind on the statistics of how many professional athletes go broke in 3 years of retiring? Anybody want to blow my mind and look that number up and find out what that answer is?
Off the top of my head, I'm going to say about 88 to 90%.
You close. Does anybody know? That's a Chiefs fan walking around. That's why they got the black and red on. Give them a hand. They got to represent them Chiefs for that, y'all. Listen, that's my favorite two colors. And I'm a diehard Chiefs fan, so I understand y'all's pain. But I'm making a point here. Because Patrick Mahomes is on top of the world. He's a 3-time Super Bowl champion. There have never been any other team in the NFL history that has made 5 Super Bowls in 6 years and winning 3 of them. Never. The Chiefs are the only team in the NFL history to ever do it. They're not going to the playoffs this year, no sweat. Patrick Mahomes will still be their quarterback for another 10, 15 years. He'll play next year. They might go to the Super Bowl next year. Who knows? But he's got $1 billion. You know who else had $1 billion? Tons of NFL retirees. How many of them is it? When they retire, how long is it before they go broke? Does anybody have that number? Let me help y'all out. Let me give you the answer for time's sake. 70%. 70% of all professional players, whether professional sports players, whether they're NFL players, Major League Baseball players, or MLB play or NBA players, after they retire, 70% of them within 3 years go broke, meaning they have nothing. They've earned $100 million. Like Chad Ochocinco said, he earned over 150 million career earnings. $150 million in an 11-year career, and he has nothing to show for it. Do you want to know why? He says he ain't broke, but he's doing Shannon Sharp podcast. If you ain't broke, you don't work. I'm gonna leave that to you right there. All of these ex-NFL, I'm gonna come to you in a second. And come up here come up here so you can speak on the mic. All of these NFL players that are retired NBA players, they seem to need work right after they retire. Have y'all noticed that? I see J.J. Watt all on the TV hosting NFL games. You know why Tom Brady needs that job? Because they won't have an NFL check coming in once they retire. They need a job. Anybody who works needs the money. Do you understand? There is no one who works that doesn't need to work. If you work, it's because you need to work. So virtually all retired NFL players go broke. That's why they're all on CBS and ABC. Michael Strahan has been on TV after he retired, the day he retired. You can never get a break. But in your mind, you think, if I could just get my son to the league, if I can get my daughter a WNBA contract, then that's heaven. They made it out of the ghetto. That's heaven. That's not what heaven is. That's why you're so comfortable with being in hell under your oppressor. That's why the black leaders now and then wanted us to go back to Egypt, wanted us to go make covenants with the heathen, want us to vote, want us to get into integration, because you don't know what heaven is like. You don't really know what heaven is. If you knew what heaven really was, you wouldn't want to be around white people, and you wouldn't want white people to be around you. Go ahead, Hachaanakah boy.
So, I just wanted to add on to your point by personal experience from a coach of mine. When I was playing basketball in high school, he told us way back then, he said, as hard as the athletes are training to make it to the NFL, there's somebody training just as hard to break you when you become a millionaire in the NFL. So then later on, we started seeing, they started giving those them seminars to the college athletes. They were about to break into the NFL. They would get in the seminars to try to coach them, to keep them from being victims. You know what I'm saying? Of getting, victimized, because of course they're gonna make a lot of bad decisions with all that money. You know what I'm saying? Being a kid that come from nothing. You know what I mean? But that's all I had to say. You know what I'm saying? That's all I had to say.
Give him a hand. Yeah, right. All you, yep. And that's what you're. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And if I could, the biggest problem was the white women.
Give him a hand. Which is you giving it back to white people when you go marry a white woman. Your reaction, the sister Shapala said 78%. So I was wrong. I said 70%. 80% of NFL players go broke. You're not making it to heaven when you make the NFL. You have a good job. If you're an NFL player, you just have a good paying job. That's all. If you're in a union, you have a good paying job. But that's not heaven. That's not what heaven is. You would not be so comfortable with wanting to be around your oppressor and making covenants with your oppressor if you knew that. If you truly knew what heaven was. Keep reading, Elisha. The water too to the sister Shapala. Go ahead, Elisha.
Verse 12. You read that part again?
No. Keep going. Keep reading on. Read on.
So this device pleased them well. 13. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. Verse 14.
Read that part again.
Verse 13. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen.
Say it again, Elisha. Read the last part again.
That they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen.
That's really why they want the covenant with the heathen. Give them a hand. They want the covenant with the heathen so that they can really be like the heathen. So they can be like white people. That's what you want it for. Black leaders don't want anything other than lust. That's all they care about. And their heaven is having an orgasm every time they want it, eating whatever they want, and having sex with whoever they want. That's heaven for your Christian preacher. That's heaven for your political leaders. Like, who's that sister that's running for senator in Texas? Jasmine Crockett. Listen, she seems like a nice sister, Aki. She says she's bad and she's pretty as hell. She's a pretty sister. She ain't one West, so she's okay. But she's a nice looking woman. She's running for senator of Texas. Black people want her to win. If Jasmine Crockett wins the Senate seat in Texas, it's going to be like she didn't win the Senate seat in Texas. She's going to make no change for black people. The same way Ketanji Brown, that's the Supreme Court justice, the black woman, voted against you a month ago getting your welfare check. That was her in the state of Florida. That was her who blocked welfare in the state of Florida during the government shutdown. She was the one that voted for it, not the white Supreme Court justices. A black woman, Ketanji Brown, voted for it. Just like in Florida, do you want to know who removed black history in the Florida school books? Who do you think removed black history in the school books of Florida? Well, you gonna know because you're in the truth. Kalawan, black politicians in Florida and black Christian preachers in Florida. They're the ones who pushed Marco Rubio 4 years ago to remove black history in Florida school books. They said that it's detrimental to all children. That's 1 Maccabees chapter 1, verse 12. You want to make covenants with your oppressor because really you want the lust that he provides. There's nothing more in depth than that. That's as basic as it is. Black people who love white people just want the lust they have. They want to get high. They want to have sex with just like white people do. They want to be lascivious like the oppressor. They want to murder like the oppressor. They want to be violent like the oppressor. That's all it's about. The same thing happened in 1 Maccabees. Keep going, Elisha.
Verse 14. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen.
Read that part again, Elisha.
Verse 14. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen.
Keep going.
Verse 15. And made themselves uncircumcised.
What does that mean? The Bible says that these black leaders, these leaders amongst the children of Israel, made themselves uncircumcised. What does that mean? Does that mean literal or is that spiritual? No, you can't do that. That's impossible because it's gone. It was gone when you were 8 days old. How would you get it back? You don't keep foreskin in Israel. So what does it mean if it's not physical?
It's definitely spiritual. Man.
So what does it mean? What does it mean to be uncircumcised?
I guess it would probably mean to be not following the will of the Most High.
That's true, but give me a better. What's synonymous with being uncircumcised to us, to Israel in the Bible? What is uncircumcised synonymous with?
Clean.
Give them a hand. So what does it mean to be uncircumcised? Give them a hand. They made themselves unclean. The Bible says this in the book of Ezekiel, that we perish because of unclean lifestyles. They die in their youth. Like that's the reason why we die, because we live unclean lifestyles. We get high, which is unclean. We vote. Voting is unclean. Saying God loves everybody is unclean. Being a Christian is unclean. Eating pork is unclean. Having sex with white women is unclean. We die because we made ourselves uncircumcised. We are unclean. The foreskin on their penis was cut, but the Bible says they made themselves uncircumcised. Guess who else is uncircumcised? Heathens are uncircumcised. That was an old way of saying a slur against the heathen, was to call them uncircumcised. Like you old uncircumcised Philistine. If I was to say that to my brother, that's like a fighting words. Because that means that you're just like the white man. You're just like the heathen, like those Africans that King David put to death. Uncircumcised Philistines. That was a slur That was fighting words. But now we've made ourselves uncircumcised like the Africans. Now we eat what the Africans eat. We have sex with who we can, like Africans and like white people. We're uncircumcised. That's why we die. Well, the Bible says that they made themselves uncircumcised. They made themselves unclean. How did they do that? With the covenants they made with the heathen. The covenants they made with the Greeks. The covenants, the voting, you made yourself unclean. Now you're just like the white man. Now you have sex with who he has sex with. You smoke you smoke what he smokes. You get high like him. And guess what? You die worse than he does. That never blows your mind? If we all bleed red, why is it that we die like the white man doesn't die? How come white people don't die like us? How come Arabs don't die like us? Did you know today there was a mass shooting in Bondi Beach, Australia, and the Arab who committed the mass shooting lived? The Arab that committed the mass shooting had his own shotgun turned on him by a hero, and he did not shoot him. He did not kill him. He lived. Meanwhile, Philando Castile dies because he's getting his identification out of his car. He's trying to hand the cop his ID, and he gets shot. How come Arabs don't get killed like we do? How come Africans, if we're so black, if we all blackity black, how come there haven't been a case of Africans who get pulled over by white cops and get gunned down? Surely they are black skinned like we are. East Indians have blacker skin than me. How come they don't get killed the way we do? How come white people don't get killed the way we do? How come Asians don't get killed the way we do? You know why? Because we're God's chosen people. And we decided to make ourselves unclean and uncircumcised like the heathen. That's what we do. That's why we die like no one else dies. Because we are the ones who can sin. Same thing right here. We made ourselves uncircumcised. We made ourselves uncircumcised like the heathens. Well, guess what's going to happen to us? Guess what's going to happen? Our people are going to be cursed the same way we're cursed now. We're reading about this is a never-ending cycle. And this is always a bittersweet thing about celebrating high holy days, like Passover and Purim and the feast of Hachaanakah. Because although we glorify in how we defeated our enemy, we always have to remember that all we're doing is reliving what we've already went through. Like, when do we learn our lessons? How many years is it going to take for us to see the error of our ways? How long will we keep these holy days and you still have black people right outside of where we have these holy days getting high, smoking weed, marrying white women, having sex with Asians? How long are we going to eat pork and shrimp? How long is it going to take for us to see that maybe we messed up? Maybe we're just going around in circles like the OJ song. Maybe we're just doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. When are we ever going to learn? When are we ever going to wake up? Are we always going to be in a predicament, a constant state of, well, we got to love white people? You know how long that is? Since the Egyptians, when there were no white people, when there were Africans ruling over us. I'm going to come to you in 1 second. We still had the same mentality of, man, listen, we just need to go back to our oppressor. Though they want to go down to Egypt, we always want to go back to the people that murder us and raped us and killed us and lynched us. When are we ever going to wake the hell up? This is supposed to be a way to commemorize what strong black men did so that we don't have to go back to our oppressor, so that we don't have to get high. You know what happened after Maccabees? The Romans came. You know what happened after the Romans? The British came. The Spaniards came. The French came. Do you know what happened after this first Maccabees? Christ came and died for all of us so that we don't have to sacrifice animals, so that we don't have to lose our lives. And do you know 2,000 years after Christ came, what black preachers are saying in his stead? Christ came so that you can eat pork. Christ came so you can get high. Christ came so you can be a whore, so you can be a whoremonger, so you can be a sinner. How long is it going to take for us to wake the hell up? How long, what is it going to take for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to realize maybe the religion thing just doesn't work? Maybe getting high doesn't make things better. maybe getting high makes things worse. Maybe voting makes things worse. Maybe having sex outside of our race makes things worse. Maybe being a Christian and a Muslim and a Democrat and a Republican makes everything worse. Maybe celebrating Christmas makes it worse because we've been doing it for so long and it's been terrible in the ghetto. It's been hell living in prison. It's been hell in the foster care system. When are we ever going to get it right? When are we going to finally say, you know what, there was a brother named Judas Maccabees who came so we didn't have to leave and go join the Romans, so we didn't have to be oppressed by the Greeks. All of your forefathers' work is in vain. Nat Turner died in vain if you don't get off of drugs, if you don't separate from white people. I see you wearing the Nat Turner shirt. I see you wearing the Rosa Parks shirt. I see you wearing who's the other brother that did something amazing for black people? Not Nat Turner, not Rosa Parks, the sister, Harriet Tubman. I see you idolize and teach your kids about Harriet Tubman. Why do you let Harriet Tubman die in vain with you loving your oppressor? What is it going to take, man? How long are you going to be hard-headed to the cruelty of your oppressor? It's time for us to wake the hell up, separate from your oppressor, and join Commanding General Yahanna in the I.S.U.P.K so that you can get it right. Go ahead, Elisha. Most High Christ, Yahweh, El-Shah.
If I may, sir, what you dropping is so heavy. And this is what blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, this is what niggas need to understand. Just straight up. The I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General Yahanna is the only Israelite group teaching the importance of separation.
That's right.
And why it's so important to separate, because if you join yourself to the so-called white man, if you join yourself to the Chinese, the Arabs, the East Indians, if you join yourself to any heathen culture or ideology, guess what? The Lord said that these other nations are like spittle. You're joining yourself to spit, something that is worthless, something that is base, something that is ridiculous. But it's because of the piss poor leadership in the Christian church. Black leaders have failed niggas. They have failed Hispanics, they have failed Native Indians, and they have taught us that the way of the heathen is better. And that's what we're reading tonight. Hachaanakah is something that's supposed to be that we celebrate because some brothers stood up and recognized that we were supposed to separate ourselves from these heathen, separate ourselves from spittle, separate ourselves from the devil. That's the importance of this. It's not a high holy day, but memorial. You understand? That's the importance of this memorial. And if we can understand the importance of every memorial in the Bible and every high holy day in the Bible in our culture, we will learn to be different from our oppressor. We will learn to be different from all these heathens. And that's the issue with us today, because the Christian church, they don't do it. The Muslim mosques, they don't do it. The Republicans and the Democrats and all the wealthy people who we look up to with all the millions of dollars, they don't do it. They join us to a nation who is beneath us. And that's all I want to say. Salaki.
Get that brother hand. What he said was so heavy. That's what we're reading about, is the failure of black leadership. And that's another thing. Why do you continue to follow niggas like Dr. King? Why do we continue to look at these leaders like they're leaders? But then you look at Commanding General Yahanna and say, well, y'all are in a cult. Well, this cult doesn't rape boys and molest children like the Christian church's cult. We don't hate black people like the black Christian church's cult. This cult loves God's chosen people. Your cult hates God's chosen people. Your cult commits more acts of crime against black people than any other organization on the earth. You know who black people really became? Black people became the Ku Klux Klan. That's who we are. We became Uncle Ruckus. That's who we become. You want to get out the ghetto, guess who else doesn't? You don't want to live around black people. Guess who else doesn't want to live around black people? The Ku Klux Klan. You want to marry white women, and you don't want to marry black women. Guess who else wants to marry white women and not marry black women? The Ku Klux Klan. You are a Christian. The Ku Klux Klan are Christian. You celebrate Christmas. Donald Trump and the Ku Klux Klan celebrates Christmas. You cut your beard and have a clean-shaven face and no hair on your head. just like the religious teachings from the followings of the Ku Klux Klan. You really became Ku Klux Klan members. That's who black people really are. You believe in the same ideology, the same belief, and you want to have access to the same sin as your oppressor, the Ku Klux Klan. When the hell are we going to wake up? Keep going, Elisha. Give me the 41. Go down to verse 41.
Verse 41. First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 44. Moreover.
Oh, so like, you know what? Go back to 14. Go read verse 15 again. They said they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem. Does anybody know what that means? The place of exercise at Jerusalem means for the heathen to come and exercise their beliefs, their culture. So pork, listen to me good. At this time, Greeks were coming into our temple and slaughtering pigs on the temple's table. They were coming into our temples and grabbing any black or Hispanic woman they saw and raping them. They murdered brothers in the streets. That's documented all in the book of Maccabees. They were living the way we live in America. Imagine some white man, like in slavery, just coming and taking your wife and then having sex with her. Then imagine the same white man going into your place of worship and slaughtering a pig's blood all on your altar floor. And do you know what your religious leaders were doing while they were doing this? They allowed it to happen the same way your religious leaders allowed Reese Taylor to be raped. The same way your religious leaders allowed Emmett Till. Something that always, there are two stories in black history when we were supposed to be free that always blows my mind. And the reason it blows my mind is not the cruelty of our oppressor. The reason that these stories blow my mind is because how a black man could sit idly and watch it happen. There was a black girl by the name of Reese Taylor. She was 21 years old. She went to church one Sunday morning, Kalawan. After church, she walked with 8 of the black people from her church. I believe 3 of them were deacons. They were men. There was a group of white mob that rolled by in a truck. They told Reese Taylor, get in the truck. Now, the white man, he's cruel, he's an animal, he's the devil. He's violent, he's nasty, he's sick, he's vile. What he does doesn't surprise me. You understand, Kalawan? Why did the black people that she walked with allow her to go with the group of racist white men in the South, in Alabama, in the 1940s? That's what I want to know. That's what shocks me about your black Christian leaders. Their cowardice. And you know the black Christian church are full of cowards, and you still decide to make that the place of your religious belief. Reese Taylor was told by a band of white men, get in this truck. That night, they raped her violently so much that she could not have children after they played in her insides. That's what the report read. She lived. Do you understand? And the black men and women of her church allowed it to happen. Emmett Till. They didn't just come kidnap Emmett Till. Do you know what the white men did when he was in Mississippi with his family? They knocked on Emmett Till's door. They knocked on his uncle's door, his great uncle's door. And what did his great uncle do when those mob of white men, 2 white men came to his front door? What did his uncle do? You see, your uncle is supposed to protect you. That's what adults are supposed to do for children. They're supposed to protect children. In Mississippi in the 1950s, do you know what Emmett Till's uncle did? He told Emmett Till to go with these white men. That's what that always blows my mind. You know what the white man is going to do to your nephew. So instead of you risking your life to save him, you would rather save your life so your nephew gets killed. That's the spirit of the Christian church. That's the spirit of these evil black religious leaders in Maccabees who watched the Greeks rape our sisters and slaughter pigs on our altar. That's the type of spirit in the people that you call your leader and pastor and reverend in the church. You vote for these type of black people, and the UPK, we don't. We follow a man by the name of Commander General Yahanna who would never allow Reese Taylor to be raped and who would never allow Emmett Till to be killed. That's who we follow in the UPK. Keep going, Elisha. Now go down to verse 41.
First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
What did Antiochus say?
All shall be one people.
This is the king of Greece. He said that all should be one people. What does that sound like? What's that sound like? Go ahead, Kalawan.
Sound like the Pledge of Allegiance.
Give him a hand. That sound. What country is that? Give him a hand. That sounds like America. That sounds like America. Because America is spiritually Greece and Rome. He said we all should be one people. You know what the preamble is, though? I know you have to. There's two young sisters in the back, Mafana and Reagan. Reagan, you in school. You should know the preamble. Do you know the preamble? Come on, say the. Let me hear you say the. What's the preamble saying?
This saying, it's full.
Do you know what it says? What does it say?
You don't have to say a word for word, but just say.
What about the Pledge of Allegiance? You know the Pledge of Allegiance? What is in the Pledge of Allegiance at the very end of the pledge? Say it again. What does it say before it says under God? One. Say it again. Did she say one nation? Good, give her a hand. One nation. Give her young sister a hand. See, she in school. And we don't say that our children don't say the pledge in school, but they do hear it because they have to learn it, and they have to learn the preamble. We have to learn the preamble. We, the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and I forget the rest of it. Promote the general welfare and establish justice and liberty for ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. That's the preamble. The Pledge of Allegiance says, one nation under God. That's Antiochus. That's Greece. That's Rome. They have always been about, well, anybody can be Greek. Anybody can be Roman. What, you want some food? Go ahead, y'all. It's like you. If anybody wants food, eat. Y'all can eat. Anybody that wants food, go ahead, eat. Y'all eat. There's some good food up there. Like I said, give everybody a hand that brought some food. No rank order, nobody serving you food. If you want food, you get up, the plates are over there, the silverware is over here, you get you some food, and we got a beautiful cake over here by Sister Yahanna. If somebody please can get a picture of that and post it on social media, that'll be great. That'll be grand. That thing there is glorious side. That Hachaanakah on there with the shield, oh, that's glorious side. Damn right.
She always go above and beyond.
Damn right she does. Give Sister Yahanna. She watching class right now. At the slave watching class. Okay, so that is America. One nation under God. That's Greece. Greece also believed that they were one nation. That anybody can be Greek. Anybody can be Roman, just like anybody can be American. Everyone understand? That's the problem with that doctrine. Anybody can become you. Israel doesn't have that ethos. We don't believe anybody can become us. We are one nation that is separate from everybody else. We are holy people. The Greeks don't believe that. Everyone understand? That's America. America is spiritually Greece and Rome. And Babylon. Who else believed in one nation? The Babylonians. All races came together for Babylon to do what? Build a tower to try to go up to heaven. The Lord said this can never happen again. So he gave everyone a scattered language. That's the Babylonians. That's America. Everybody's one nation in America, right? Everybody's one nation until it's time to get pulled over by the police. Until it's time to go pick cotton. Until it's time to go cut sugar cane in the fields of Louisiana. Then everybody's not one body. Everybody's not one nation. But we are one nation amongst Israel in here. We're blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and that's all you can be. You can't be anything else in here, Kalawan. Do you understand? Because we're a holy people. Do you know that what that word means? You know what that word means? Holy?
You should.
Does anybody know? Any of the young kids? Go ahead, Sister Kadawa. Go ahead. Give the sister a hand. Separate. That word holy means separate. That means to be a totally different people than everybody else. That's not what heathens believe. Heathens want unity with everybody. They want to be unified under one God. Shalom, Sister Barakah. Yahweh Shemar Tabashim Yahushua. Most High in Christ. All right? The heathens want to be unified under one God, under thousands of gods. That's the heathens' ethos. That's their lively. That's how they live. They want to be, all people can become them. Remember Cornelius in the book of Acts. He was a brother that served in the oppressor's military, because that is what heathens do. They allow anybody to become them, anyone to join their military, anyone to be in their police force, anyone to be one of them. Anybody can be Greek, anybody can be Roman, anybody can be American. Everyone understand? This happened during this time. Keep going, Elisha. Go skip me down to verse 41. First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 41.
First Maccabees chapter 1 verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
Keep going.
Verse 42. And everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
You hear that? This is really the reason why all these heathens want everybody to become them, so that they can have complete domination over everybody. That's the reason why. You think that America is so kind and so just and so nice and so loving. They want anybody can come to America. Remember, America has the Statue of Liberty out there in the Hudson River that says what? Bring me your tired. Bring me your tired. Bring me your wretched refuse yearning for our teeming shores. That's what America says. They want everybody, right, Akalawan? Or do they? Because when you're a brown-skinned Mexican who speaks Spanish, then the Statue of Liberty isn't talking to that wretched refuse. When you're a brown-skinned Venezuelan or a brown-skinned Hispanic Latino, then America isn't talking to you then. You understand? Then America doesn't want the black and brown wretched refuse yearning for the teeming shores, but they do want white trash from Ireland, Italy, and Scotland yearning for the teeming shores. From Germany yearning for their teeming shores. But they don't want your black behind, your Hispanic and Native Indian behind. Does everyone understand? Keep going, Elisha. So I get the point. The reason I said that was, the reason they want everybody under their nation, under their authority, is so that they can be in charge of you, so that they can oppress you, so that they can have dominion over you and not your God. That's why the oppressor wants everybody to come together under him. Everybody has to salute the flag. Remember, Colin Kaepernick took a knee. What did they do to Colin Kaepernick? They blackballed him. They fired him from his job. He needs to shut up and dribble. That's what they told LeBron. When LeBron just questioned the president's motive, they said he needs to shut up and dribble. You know why? Because you really have to love America and you don't have another choice. That's why we're called a cult. We're called a cult because we don't love America. Guess who isn't called a cult? The KKK isn't called a cult. Yeah, but I'm thinking bigger than them. The Christian church isn't called a cult. You know who isn't called a cult? This will blow your mind. The Catholic Church isn't considered a cult. And the Catholic Church in one city has over 265,000 cases of child molestation on one church in one city. Nationwide, remember, the Vatican is the smallest city in the world. Vatican City, Rome, the capital of where the Roman Catholic Church is. They have so many cases of child molestation that they had to pay all of this money to the victims and the victims' families, that they don't even worry about the cost or the what would it be called? What is it called? The case. They don't even worry about the what is that called? Yeah, I guess it would just be a case. They don't worry about the cases of child molestation on a priest or an archdiocese in the Catholic Church, because they know that the church is going to molest the children. So they just have their pocketbook ready at Kalawan. They just have their pocketbook ready, Kunaya. Whenever one of those archdioceses in the Catholic Church get a case against them, they don't even worry about how much it's going to cost them. They just pay the money. and they relocate the priest or the preacher who molested the children. That's how many children get molested in the Roman Catholic Church. That's their religious belief, and they want that to rule over you. They want the Christian church to be your God. They don't want you to have your laws. They don't want you to have your God. They don't want you to have your culture and your language. They want to impose their culture, their language, and their gods on you. And that's the reason they want everyone to be one. That's the reason they want everyone to salute the flag. That's the reason why we're a cult, and the Catholic Church, who has cases of child molestation over them, and they have the stigma of being child molesters and rapists, they're not considered a cult because the Catholic Church loves America. The Catholics salute the flag and they love America. But the I.S.U.P.K, we do not. We don't salute the flag. We don't stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And my God, we do not love America. And that's why we're a cult. Keep going, Elisha.
Verse 23. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. Verse 44. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land. Verse 45. And forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and the festival days.
Y'all hear that? The first book of Maccabees is so heavy because it is parallel to what we suffer and we face today. Now, it's not everything, and when I say it's not everything, meaning we aren't a race of people who have the temple anymore. So when we read First Maccabees, you can only think about what it's like. You can't really put yourself there because the closest thing to our temple is the church, and that's nothing. You understand? Everybody's a goddamn Christian, so that's not the same as the first book of Maccabees. It's not the same as having your own culture. We don't even know what it's like to have our own language. We don't know what that's like to be speaking Hebrew to one another. Hebrew that's unimposed by any oppressor. Go ahead.
We don't know what it's like to have our own name.
We don't give it, brother. Listen, we don't know what it's like to have our own names. We're so oppressed and used to oppression that having another man's name as our last name is okay. It's acceptable. There's nothing abnormal about it. It's normal. It's normal to have the last name Robinson. You say, well, who are you? I'm a Robinson. You're saying that you're the son of another devil who oppressed your people. That's okay. We don't know what it's like to not experience that. So you really don't understand First Maccabees unless you think about the cruelty of your oppressor. But when you think about how we were living then, you can only kind of think about it. You can only imagine it, but you really have to do some history, and you really have to understand how much we are slaves. If you like some burnt up sister, brother, I had to tell some sister she is not allowed to come into any U.P.K. Brother, this sister has a severe mental illness. And I had to tell this sister, I said, you are not welcome into any I.S.U.P.K. classes. You cannot come to any I.S.U.P.K. events or functions. And if you come into any I.S.U.P.K. function, you're going to be thrown out until you receive mental help. Until your mental illness gets help. This sister tried to battle me on the phone, Elisha, about how we aren't slaves. Now, remember, this is a sister who wanted to come into the U.P.K., who wanted to come into the school and earn her name. And then she said, but we ain't slaves. I said, what do you mean we're not slaves, sis? She said, because that's a choice. And we just got to talking, and she told me how much we ain't slaves. And I said, God damn, this sister said we not slaves. And then she started jabbering on and started lying and jabbering. And then I found out this sister is just mentally, she's insane. She's a schizophrenic or a multiple personalities type person. She has severe mental illness, and she needs help. And I pray the sister gets the help so she can come back in here. But you are not allowed in the U.P.K. with mental illnesses if you're going to be a danger to yourself and others. You cannot come in here. You're a danger to these children. We got precious kids back here and sisters back there that we cannot allow you to hurt. So you're not allowed in here until you get right. You understand? If you go and you get medical help, then you can come in here. Now, to every other brother and sister who is not as schizophrenic, come in here and get help. But to that sister, she is not allowed in this school until she gets help. Does everyone understand? And I had to tell her, I said, sister, we are slaves, sis. She said, we're not slaves. And I said, my God, even the people who listen to the UPK, who want to join the UPK, we have such Stockholm syndrome. We suffer from severe Stockholm syndrome so much that even when they hear us speak, they still think we're not slaves. Do you understand how heavy that is? Like, we are such slaves that we don't think we are slaves, even when you want to come into the UPK. And we teach that we are slaves. That's the reason why you really can't understand Maccabees. The average Jake couldn't understand Maccabees this day and age because you think that we are not slaves. You think we're free because LeBron James gets paid $40 million a year. So that means we're not slaves. No sweat. You couldn't understand Maccabees then. You couldn't understand the type of oppression that we suffer now and how we had our own back then and some other race of people came and ruined it. You just couldn't understand it because you love America too much. You love America too much. Guess what? You love America too much, just like the black religious leaders love Greece and Rome the same exact way. Keep going, Elisha. Go to verse 53.
Verse 53.
It's so much in this book. They forbid us, but it's so much. They forbid our burnt offerings. Verse 46 says they polluted the sanctuary and holy people. They polluted it. How do you pollute anything? By corrupting it. That's how they polluted our sanctuary, by corrupting it. They sacrificed swine on our temple altar. They raped our women, destroyed our sons. They made our sons effeminate. Keep going to verse 53.
First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 53. And drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee for succor. Did I say that right?
Read that again, Elisha.
And drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee for succor.
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 Keep going.
Verse 54.
They drove us Israelites into secret places. So we had to begin to hide whenever we wanted to keep the law. Could you imagine that? See, you live in America, and America has freedom of religion. And so they allow you to do what we do and celebrate Hachaanakah and celebrate any holiday. Brother, do you know there are people who worship trees? There are people who serve the vagina. They have vaginas, images of vaginas. They're called unks. Unks are the penis and the vagina. And there are people who worship those. You could be an Egyptian nut who worships unks. You could be a Christian who believes that the blood of Jesus should cover you and you get dunked in water and changed. You can believe in that. The Catholics believe that you eat a piece of Jesus's flesh when you take on, what is that called? It's a word, transmortification. Transmortification. There's a belief, you can look this up, called transmortification, where Catholics believe that when you eat the cracker at communion, that you could become like Jesus. That's a belief that the Catholics have. They're not considered crazy. They're considered normal and not a cult, and anybody can be Catholic. America gives you the freedom of religion to believe whatever you want to believe. If you want to serve a box, if you want to worship a tree, a frog, if you want to worship this right here, if you want to worship the lion. The Egyptians worshiped everything. They believed everything was a god. The sun, the animals, the roach, the beetle. They believed everything was a god. There's a freedom of religion in America. Can you imagine living in a place that you can't worship what you want to worship? The only thing you're allowed to worship is what your oppressor tells you to worship. That's what he just read. That's First Maccabees. That's the precipice of Hachaanakah. We could not serve our God. We could not keep Passover. We could not keep Purim. We had to go and hide in order to do it because we couldn't do it in the open or else we would be punished. There will be a penalty for it. Keep going, Elisha.
Verse 54. Now the 15th day of the month of Caslu,
Caslu,
in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar and built it idol altars throughout the cities of Judah on every side. Verse 55. And burnt incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets. 56. And when they had rent the pieces in pieces, the books of the law which they found, they burnt them with fire.
What is the book of the law? Anybody know? Anybody know what the book of the law is? Raise your hand. What's the book of the law? What the brother just read in the Bible. What's the book of the law? Give him a hand. It's the Bible. It's the scripture. It's the law of Moses. Say it again, Elisha. The Torah. Yeah. It's our book. It's our Bible. It's at this time it wasn't all the books, so it didn't go to Revelations because it's still in the process. But the first 5 books, which the brother did, Elisha just said, the Torah was the law of Moses, and that's how we knew what high holy days to keep. Our culture. What happened to Adam? What happened with Eve? What happened to the judges of Israel at one time? Remember, the book is it's a constitution for us. It's our history book. You understand? It isn't over time, people have made the Bible this religious thing. It's not. The Bible is literally a historical record comprised over centuries with a specific race of people. This doesn't have all the documentation of the Arabs. This doesn't have all the documentation of the Greeks or the Romans. Only the part that conflicts with us because it has to do with our history. The Constitution don't talk about the goddamn Africans. Why? Because it's their history. It's for white people who are American. Every race has their constitution. Every race has their history passed down to them. The Bible is our history passed down to us. And so it's inside of our book. It's inside of our book, what the brother just read, that the oppressor burned our records. They burned them. They burned the Bible. I'm going to get one when I finish. When I eat, I'll get one. The one out. They burned the Bible. They burned the Torah. They burned the law. Keep going, Elisha. It gets worse than that.
Verse 56. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law which they found, they burnt them with fire.
So they burnt. Listen, imagine all of these terrible things taking place in Kalawan. All of these evil, nasty things that our oppressor is doing to us. How they're oppressing us. How we have to hide just so that we can serve our God. Just so that we can speak our language, speak our tongue. These things are happening to us. And then take me to chapter 4, verse 52. Take me to 1 Maccabees chapter 4, verse 52. Go ahead, Akalawan. Read that when you have it. Think about all these things that are happening, all the oppression we're suffering. And then there were brothers like Commanding General Yahanna, like General Mahaiman, like General Hachaanakah. There were brothers, strong men, who saw what was taking place to our people, and they could not sleep knowing what our enemy and our oppressor was doing to us. Read what you got.
The book of Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 52. Now, on the 5 and the 20th day of the 9th month, which is called the month of
Caslu.
In the 148th year, they rose up betimes in the morning.
I'm sorry, go to chapter 3. I skipped. Go to chapter 3. Go to chapter 3 and verse 1.
The book of Maccabees, chapter 3.
Or is it chapter 2? It's chapter 2. Go to chapter 2. And start at verse 1. Kalawan. Chapter 2 and verse 1.
The book of Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 1. Then took Georgius 5,000 footmen and 1,000 of the best horsemen.
You in 1 Maccabees chapter 2 and verse 1?
Chapter 2. 1 Maccabees chapter 2, verse 1.
There you go. Read it. Read what you got. Read what you got.
Then took Georgius.
1 Maccabees chapter 2 and verse 1 says, in those days arose Mattathias, the son of John, the son of Simeon, a priest.
In those days rose Mattathias, the son of John, the son of Simon, a priest of the sons of Joab, from Jerusalem, and dwelt in
So there was a brother named Mattathias who had 5 sons. And you're gonna skip ahead. You don't have to read the 5 sons' names. But one of them was Judas, who was called Maccabeus, right? Which is where you have the book of Maccabees, right? So you had one of his sons named Judas called Maccabees. So Judas Maccabees, which, if I'm not mistaken, I know Judas. What's Judas in Hebrew? Judas ain't Yahweh, I don't think. Judas, I think it is Yahweh. Maccabees is something hardcore, right? Something. I know Melchizedek is like Maltazadakia, righteousness. Maccabees means something heavy and hardcore, right? So like if I know, I gotta go back and look at them notes for that one. It's a heavy name, Maccabees, Judas, what it is in Hebrew, Yahanna, Kalawan. But nevertheless, there was one of his sons named Judas Maccabees. Now skim me up to verse 6. Go down to verse 6.
Verse 6. And when he saw the blasphemies that were committed in Judah and Jerusalem.
Why does it say Judah and Jerusalem? For time's sake, because at this time you had the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom. The southern kingdom was called Judah, right? The Judites, the Levites, and the Benjamites, that made up Judah, the southern kingdom. And they were called Judah. What was the northern kingdom called? Do you know it, Kalawan? At this time, do you know what the northern kingdom was called? Does anybody know the northern kingdom? It was called Ephraim. Ephraim and his fellows. It was a split. You understand? Remember, King David tried to unify Israel. He unified us through civil war. That civil war caused a split. By the time his son came, Solomon, it was the southern and the northern kingdom. That's the entire reason Christ came, to put together the 2 sticks, Ephraim and Israel, Judah and Israel. You understand? So this is talking about Judah. Judah represents the Jews, the southern kingdom, the Jews, Judah, the Benjamites, and the Levites. Keep going. And Jerusalem. So this is Israel. Do you understand? Keep going.
Verse 7. He said, woe is me. Wherefore was I born to see this misery of my people and of the holy city?
Brother, this brother was so hardcore. Like I said, these things were taking place and going on while you had strong, hardcore, no coward-made brothers like Judas Maccabees. And they're watching this. Eleazar, Mattathias, Judas Maccabees, and Kalawan. They're watching what's going on, and they're living in it. Like you go outside your door every day, and you see the news, and you see how the cops kill another brother. It makes you crazy. That's why you're here. Give the trooper a hand. That's why he's in here. Because it drives you insane. That's why you're here. That's why Quinayagabar is here. That's why the sister Mathanai, Yanakahab, Kadawa, the sisters in this school, the brothers in this school. That's why we're in here. Because the oppression of our people have driven us mad. It made us mad. It makes us crazy. We'll go crazy if we didn't have the school. Because we'll have to suffer what we see on TV. Suffer what we see our family go through. Knowing it's caused by the white man. Knowing it's caused by our oppressor. You would go insane. This brother just got 25 years for, you know what? Brother, my uncle, they gave one of my uncles 15 years for stealing a dress in the 1970s. 15 years for stealing a dress in the 1970s. Brother, if we didn't have the truth, we would go crazy. Because the white man is so oppressive of us, of God's chosen people, that we would go insane. So you have men like Judas Maccabees that is watching this oppression. He sees brothers that's getting 15 years for stealing a goddamn dress. Why he was stealing the dress, I don't know. I ain't gonna ask my uncle that. I know he was poor, so he needed to get some money, but not, you don't deserve 15 years for that. You would go mad at Kalawan. Judas Maccabees is watching that. He's watching Atiana Jefferson. He's watching Breonna Taylor. He's watching the slaves, and he's watching lynchings, and he sees them slaughtering pigs on an altar. He said, woe is me that I was born to see this misery of my people. And now keep going. Skip me all the way down. No, skip me down, skip me down. Go to 17. Go to verse 17.
Verse 17. Then answered the king's officer and said to
Mattathias. This is the father of Judas Maccabees. He had 5 sons. These are hardcore brothers. This is how I pray to raise my sons. I don't got 5 yet. Y'all sister, she can't leave me alone. I'm about to have 5 in 2 seconds if she don't stop leaving. I can't get her off of me at Kalawan. Salakia. but I got 4 boys. Thanks be to the Lord. I got a 5th one. I'm praying that these boys is like Mattathias and Eleazar and Avaron and Maccabees and Thasai and Simon. That was the name of Mattathias' 5 sons. All of them meant something heavy. They all mean something heavy. And I used to remember them all, but I have to look it up in my notes. But they all mean something heavy. His sons were approached by the king of Greece. They were approached by Antiochus' army. They sent men to talk to Mattathias, to speak to the leader of those strong boys who had the ear of the people. And do you know what this bastard asked them to do? To turn their cheek away, to not serve the God of Israel, and to serve the Greek God, to serve Antiochus. That's what they asked him to do. I'm paraphrasing for time's sake. This is what his answer was. Go down to verse 19.
Verse 19.
Now, why did they ask him to do that? So that all of the people who respected Mattathias can follow what he did. It's like when you were a little boy and there was some brother that you, Delshire Dupree. Imagine if you seen Delshire Dupree serve Commander General Yahanna. You would have been in the truth. Imagine if you or Kalawan, who was somebody you look up to as a child? Michael Jordan. Imagine if young brothers in the 80s, Hachaanakah bar. Imagine if you would have seen Michael Jordan in the 80s come into the I.S.U.P.K. Brother, you would have been in the I.S.U.P.K. with Jordan's on. Because they have the respect of the people. That's how Mattathias was. He had the respect of the people. So if he did it, it must be right. Guess what? He was a brother who actually stood for something, unlike Michael Jordan. Unlike brothers like the homeboys in the world, family in the world. He stood for the Lord. He stood for the Most High. Keep going, Kalawan. Then Mattathias answered.
Then Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice. Through all the nations.
No, not through. No.
Though all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him.
What did he said? Though all the kings, though everybody is obeying this king, all these nations might obey him. Keep going.
And fall away every one from the religion of their fathers, and give consent to his commandments.
Keep going.
Verse 20. Yet will I and my sons and my brother walk in the covenant of our father.
Listen, give the brother the reading ahead. And shalom to sister, who is this? Oh, she just got a wife of. Shawashana. That's sister Shawashana. Shalom, sis. Y'all Shema, Tabashim, Y'all Shah. Most High Christ, sis. Salakia. This is Mattathias' response. He answered these officers from the king, and he said, though everybody at Kalawan, everybody might follow this king, we won't be. Everybody might stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, but guess what? Me and my sons won't. Everybody might be kissing the ass of Donald Trump and voting and getting high, but as for me and my house, we're going to serve the Most High, even if it means death, even if it means our eyes are plucked out of our head. Remember what the punishment was if he did not do this. If you were caught serving God, our God, with our laws, it was punishable by death. You could have your eyes burnt out, just go and look up some of the medieval tortures that they used. The Greeks were doing that years before them, putting men in all types of cauldrons, setting them on fire, burning them alive. The torture of the white man is ingenious. It is ridiculous, the things that he does to torture people to death. That was the punishment if you didn't obey this king's order. And this brother, Mattathias, in front of this king's officers' faces, told them bold as a lion in front of everybody, we ain't doing it. I don't care, although all these other nations may do it, although everybody else may serve this king, we're not doing it. Keep going.
Verse 21. God forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinance.
God forbid that we go against what our God told us to do. We just aren't doing it. That's the spirit of brothers and sisters in the I.S.U.P.K. That's the spirit of Commander General Yahanna. We have a spirit of we won't go. Those faggots those purple faggots in the IUIC, those purple pigs, they have a spirit of going along with what everybody else does. That's why they believe that a man cannot have multiple women. You know who else says that? Christians. Here pretty soon, Nasty Nate is going to come out and say Jesus Christ was born immaculately. And then everybody that goes into the I.S.U.P.K going to say, look, Bishop Nate, he said that Christ was born immaculately. Nigga, who else says that? The Christians. You're not saying or believing anything that hasn't already been said before. In the UPK, we go against what mainstream believes. And we go against how people feel about us. Think about how your family doesn't want you around because it's simply what you believe. Your family doesn't want you around simply because you're in the UPK. Your baby's mother wants to put you on child support and take your children away from you simply because you're in the I.S.U.P.K. What do? You stay in here and you face scrutiny. You face death and you fight for the laws of our God and our people. That's what Mattathias and his sons, that's how they believe. That's how they behave. That's what they believe. And they did it in the face of death. The same way in the UPK, we do the same thing, God. We're no coward in here. We face death at camp. We face death just for our beliefs. We face scrutiny just for our beliefs. And we will not change what we believe. We're going to stay loyal to our King Christ. And we're going to stay in the UPK for those of us who are loyal to our King Christ and stay in the UPK. We are made of the same thing that Mattathias and his sons were made of. Keep going.
Verse 22. We will not hearken to the king's words to go from our religion, either on the right hand or the left.
Yeah, jump me down to verse 24.
Verse 24. Which thing when Mattathias saw, he was inflamed with zeal, and his reins trembled.
His reins trembled. He was upset. He was mad. He was inflamed with anger. And you know what he said? He's looking at all of the things going on in the nation, and he's mad and angry. He wants to do something about it. Now listen to this next part. I'm not encouraging any blacks or Hispanics to take matters into their own hands with acts of violence. But at this time in history, what he did was needed. It was necessary. What he's about to do was necessary. Let me skip you up for time's sake. He went and slaughtered blacks and Hispanics who were against our people. He went to go kill men that were trying to slaughter pigs on our altar. Men, black and Hispanic men, that tried to have sex with white women. He was so sick of it. He couldn't take it anymore. Him and his sons they took out their swords, and they went to war against the establishment of the Greek belief system. And they slaughtered blacks and Hispanics that didn't believe what we believed, that wasn't one West. They slaughtered them out. They did that, and it was necessary. I'm not telling you to go do this, because you can come into the UPK and Christ, because of Christ, you can change. But before Christ, these brothers, what they did was necessary. Now I'll go to that scripture I had you pull in 1 Maccabees chapter 4. 1 Maccabees 4 and 52. And then we're going to get out of here.
The book of Maccabees, chapter 4.
1 Maccabees.
The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 52. Now, on the 25th day of the 9th month, which is called the month Caslu, in the 148th year, they rose up betimes in the morning.
They rose up betimes. Betimes. Go ahead.
In the morning, 53, and offered sacrifices according to the law upon the new altar of burnt offerings which they had made. Verse 54. Look at what time and what day the heathen had profaned it.
100 years after what that brother did, they had to fight battles. It wasn't just a one-day thing, right? Don't think that we're celebrating the Feast of Hachaanakah and it was just a one-day thing, like it was a Judas Maccabees and Mattathias and his sons. They did what they did, and then bam, it was over. No, it was a period of time. It took wars. We literally fought battles with the Greeks, with the black people who sided with the Greeks. Does anyone know who those men were, the family of Mattathias and Judas Maccabees? Does anybody know what that family was called biblically? Anybody did any research? Anybody know Bible history? You know your history? No, hell no. That's wrong. It's the Romans. We talking about Judas Maccabees. These is black men. Does anybody know what they were called? What their families called? Does anybody know? The Hashmonean dynasty. Does anybody know who the Hashmonean dynasty was during the time of Christ? The Pharisee and the Sadducee. That's why they had that position of rulership over blacks and Hispanics. Remember, Nicodemus was a ruler of the Jews. The Pharisees and Sadducees were the rulers over us. They were the religious leaders over us. How did they earn that seat? Because of what their forefathers did. You don't touch that. Make sure you ain't touching that. The Pharisee and Sadducee, they earned that seat because of their forefathers, because of Mattathias and Judas Maccabees. That's who the Pharisee and Sadducee descended from. Now, of course, over time, they were corrupt. They got corrupted by the Romans, and they ultimately killed Christ, our king. But before them, before the time of Christ, the time we're reading about, this is the foundation of that family. This is who they were, the Hashmoneans. They were the Pharisee and Sadducee. Do you understand? All right. So these brothers, over a period of hundreds of years, fought these battles and won these battles. And because they won these battles, read verse 54 again.
Look, at what time and what day the heathen had profaned it, even in that was it dedicated with songs and psalteries and harps and cymbals.
Look at this day. So today we come in the honor and the memory of those brothers who fought those heathens, who fought our oppressor, and who fought traitors. That's something that's forgotten about. They fought traitors like Dr. King. They fought traitors like the black politicians you vote for. And they unalived them so we could have our holy day, so that we could celebrate Passover that's coming up April 4th in Houston, Texas. Give the Lord a hand. We wouldn't be able to celebrate it without the sacrifices of Mattathias and the brothers who followed suit. If it was not for him, if it was not for their sacrifice, we would still be oppressed by the Greeks. We would still be eating pork and allowing devils to slaughter pig on our altar. But because of the sacrifice of a few brothers who were strong and uncompromising, guess what? We now get to light these 7 candlesticks on the menorah and blow this trumpet and have our scroll and our language and our culture back. And now we commemorate it. Now we honor their dedication. Now we rededicate our schools, our temples in their honor to show the Most High we've never forgotten what they've done. And our spirit is recircumcised, our spirit is rededicated. Now we have a new decoration. We got this bad boy here. We got this here. Kwam Yashal. We got this thing here, this jawbone of a cattle, of some beef cattle out there in a farm out in Polo, Missouri, Smithville, some garbage like that. But I know the person who raises these cattle, and he allowed me to take one of these, and I said, I need that. I didn't tell him why, but I said, I need that. I got this for Hachaanakah for today. Give the Lord a hand. We rededicate, and when Kansas City gets a physical school building, you best believe we're going to go crazy on that thing, guys. We're going to go crazy. We're going to have everything up every year. It's rededication. That's Hachaanakah, and that's the reason why we do it. Everyone understand? With that, I pass the class over to priest and officer Kunayagabar. You'll have to come up here, Q. You'll have to read the security announcements. Make sure you do it on the microphone. See it. Pass the class over to priest and officer Kunayagabar.
We're the I.S.U.P.K, started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, They are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10. My Ashura, which means tenth in Hebrew. 10% of every penny of increase the Lord gives you. Give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund is a free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you'd like to give. Upcoming holy convocations, Passover, correct?
Purim.
Shalakia, Purim.
And then Passover.
And then Passover.
Passover is April 4th in Houston, Texas.
Passover is April 4th, Houston, Texas. Let me see. Oh, and if anyone would like to be a trooper, if any brother would like to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boots, shirts, pants, headbands, and scarf. And with that, Amajim, which means to stand. We're gonna give. Select. Okay. We're gonna give one courtesy salute to the teacher. Amajim, select. Men of Israel. Amajim. Amajim Shabbat. Amajim. Barak. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabrakatah. We're gonna Yajimata. We're gonna give one courtesy salute to the brothers. Men of Israel. Amajim. Amajim Shabbat. Barak. Salaki. Amajim. Barak. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabrakatah. Yajimata. Sar. We face the sisters. We're gonna give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel. Amajim. Amajim Shabbat. Barak. Salaki. Amajim. Barak. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah. Yajimata, dismiss.
Yeah, hold on, Hold on, it's still live. It's still live.